Okay, girl, grab your coffee because episode 3 of Hyperpotential starts with a literal splash. Morgan and Karadec roll up to a super fancy hotel room, and what do they find? A wild party night that went completely south and a dead guy in the bathtub. Now, the first thing Morgan notices, she looks at the victim and casually drops that he is super hot. Karadec immediately pulls the grumpy cop card and tells her to never comment on a victim's hotness again. Classic. But honey, Morgan's hyperactive brain is already scanning the room, and she spots a total disgrace. The hand towels. 2 of them are folded with 2 edges, but the top one has 3. Morgan's deduction. The killer used that top towel to wipe up white drug residue from a lead-free, crystal-cut whiskey tumbler and clear their tracks. The victim's ID says he's Ernest Lozano from Mexico City. A rich, cultured guy out here living his best life. Or so they think. Morgan initially bets on a sexy brunette accomplice, but the hotel bartender sets her straight. The victim was actually drinking with a medium sexy blonde named Candace, Gladys, or maybe Janice. Surveillance footage shows this mystery woman entering the room at 8:02 p.m. and leaving at 8:33 p.m. No one else enters the room all night. They discover she parked a red Kia in a no-parking zone, but never got a ticket. And who doesn't get ticketed in LA, girl? Cops and doctors. They track the car code and bring in Dr. Iris Bowman. Iris openly admits it was a no-strings-attached casual fling to cope with her husband passing away 9 months ago. She claims she left because Ernest fell asleep. Since she left at 8:33 p.m. and nobody else entered, she looks guilty as sin, right? But Morgan saves the day with literal candle math. The candle clue. The bathtub was lined with clearance rack candles that burn for exactly 4 hours. All of them melted completely down except one. The splash factor. Something extinguished that lone candle early. What puts out fire? Bath water. The real timeline. There was a violent struggle in the tub that splashed water and killed the flame. Based on how much the candle burned, the murder happened an hour after the doctor left. Boom. Iris is cleared, and the cops have absolutely no suspects. And here is where the plot completely thickens, girl. The LAPD contacts the police in Mexico City, and guess what? The real Ernest Lozano is alive. Well, and showing up to his corporate job every single day. Turns out, years ago, he lost his wallet to a rideshare driver who looked exactly like him. The dead guy in the tub is actually Eduardo Cortez, an ex-con credit card fraudster turned serial con artist. This man was running a massive, disgusting scam, targeting wealthy, vulnerable women, seducing them, and stealing their life savings. They track his finances and discover he took $200,000 from an elderly woman named Glenda Walker, who lives in an assisted living facility and is suffering from severe dementia. He convinced her they were buying a dream vacation home in Mexico City. When Morgan and Karadec interview her son, Kyle, he is devastated, explaining his mum's memory is so eroded, she doesn't even recognize him anymore. Eduardo is literally draining her dry. While all this chaos is happening, we get some beautiful insight into Morgan's past. She hitches a ride with Lieutenant Mellon from Robbery to look into her missing ex, Roman. Mellon's old citation report from 15 years ago is totally illegible, but they track down the location of Roman's old unauthorized mural. Morgan and Mellon get into a hilarious $50 bet over whether Roman painted a fishtail or a bird's wing. Morgan wins because, girl, it's a gorgeous phoenix wing. She realizes Roman might have witnessed some shady criminal activity in that neighborhood right before he vanished. Meanwhile, at home, Ludo, her amazing ex who babysits the kids, allows Morgan's 15-year-old daughter, Ava, to have a teenage boy named Ryder over in her room to study. Morgan has a total overprotective mum freak out and snaps at Ludo, calling him just the nanny. But later, she swallows her pride and delivers the most beautiful apology, telling Ludo he is the closest thing Ava has to a father. My heart completely melted. Back to the case. Morgan figures out that a con artist like Eduardo needs a spotter to find rich, lonely women. And who meets rich, lonely women all day? A hotel bartender. She drags Karadec to the hotel bar to confront the bartender, Prado. But girl, Morgan goes rogue, corners him, and Prado completely panics, pulling a massive knife on them. Karadek has to jump in, disarm the guy, and make the arrest. But once they get back to the precinct, Karadek completely explodes at her for being reckless and walking into a knife fight without backup. They get into a screaming match, and Morgan yells, "I don't need this job that bad. I quit!" and storms out. The whole bullpen is in shock. Of course, Morgan can't stay away because she loves solving a puzzle. She walks right back into the bullpen to help them crack the final piece. The bartender, Prado, admits to the scam but has a rock-solid alibi for the actual murder. So who climbed into a fourth-floor hotel window to drown Eduardo? The physical trait. Morgan points out that to scale the exterior of a brick hotel, you need short, strong fingernails. The bartender has long flamenco guitar nails. The evidence. Forensics matches traces of magnesium carbonate on the window ledge. That's literal rock climbing chalk. And who is an expert rock climber out for ultimate revenge? Kyle Walker, the son of the elderly woman with dementia. Eduardo to punish him for destroying his mother's life. But wait, girl, there is one final insane twist. Morgan realizes Kyle couldn't have done it alone because the window had to be unlatched from the inside, and Kyle never showed up on any lobby CCTV. So who was his inside accomplice? Dr. Iris Bowman. It turns out Eduardo scammed her out of $390,000 too. Kyle had been staking out the hotel to confront Eduardo, met Iris instead, and told her about the scam. Furious and humiliated, the doctor and the climber formed a lethal revenge pact. Iris went to the room, drugged Eduardo with Xanax, unlocked the window from the inside, and left. Then Kyle climbed up the ledges, entered the room, and held Eduardo underwater until he drowned. Before they take Kyle away, Karadek shows his soft side and lets him say a bittersweet goodbye to his mother, pretending he got a job out in Colorado so she won't worry about him going to prison. Girl, the tears were real. What you do for the ones you love.